Hello, hello, how are you today? This is going to be just a quick short one. I had promised somebody to talk about organizing or how to go about organizing these farms because if you look around the mess I've made here, obviously it's not hard to make a big old mess of it. Now, when you start, this place will be a mess. It's going to be, and I don't think there's any way around that unless you do what I did in my first farm and you move stuff almost every day. When you're starting, you're trying to level. You're trying to get into here, you see what crop, let's go to the flowers because I still have one. You see what you don't have opened, you look over to the right and you see the required here. I need, green tea needs to be up to level 10, red tea needs to be up to level 7. The 8 beside green tea in the brackets is showing me what level I have it at. And you're working on that sort of thing and you're trying to open everything and you're trying to get quests done because you really need those ribbons. You need to get some houses going. Like there's so many jobs going on. It's going to become a mess. And on my first farm, I did exactly what I did here. This is my starting area. And I just keep one field where I do all the field crops. And I just do them over and over and over again right here. I don't put a lot of space into field crops. I tried to keep the fish together. And of course, every time, you get a new quest, you're adding more and they get all messed up like this, which is kind of horrendous. But then I have the one farmer in and he's doing all the harvesting for me, so I don't worry about it. I'm not even going to try to sort this out. I'm going to recycle all of these fish once my fish farm is there. And the best I can do is just try to keep them together so that the one guy can do the harvesting for me. That's about as good as that gets in the early days. Now you can see something else was here. I think I had an animal here that was in, that I needed for a quest. You can see, got some roses here. I've got more up here on this hill. And then this little strip of them that runs along there because I just needed some. I needed a few extra than I had for a quest and there was no place to put them. So you scooch them in there, which is terrible. I think the best you can do in the early stages is just try to keep, like the fish are together. I've tried to keep the flowers together as well as I was able. And again, that often meant they're in all these weird pieces because I had other things here at the time. Things get in the way and you just tuck it in wherever you can. And then slowly as you're working through the day, you start to move your stuff together. When you open new land, you just try to pop something else in, that's a little bit closer than it was before. I haven't done a lot of this because I've just decided to leave it until I could move all of it. But at least if you're trying to keep your plants together, it does make it a lot easier to start moving them later. Because I could start grabbing the daffodils here now. And as you buy land, you can start trying to think ahead about where things are going to go. And that's about the best you can do. And over the next several recordings, you guys are going to be seeing me do just that. Is trying to sort out where these things are going to go. And I'm not going to quite make enough. I'm going to have to come back and get the rest of them. But I know flowers are going to be over here somewhere. So right now, all I'm doing is occasionally picking up some flowers and tucking them back here in this corner. Now that I own this corner, thank you again, Dutch. And they're going to have to be moved again. This one move is not going to be enough because I know they're probably not going in this particular direction. I'm probably going to make them going like from there to there rather than this way. Whoops, I missed the spot. There you go. Put that away. And we have 2 left. Well, that's weird and interesting. So I'm just starting to move flowers up here, fish over here. These are going to be my big money-making place. This is going to be what's going to be my diamond/herb garden. And I do have the animals sorted out down here. Now I'm doing things the animals are all alphabetical, and because I was facing south when I did it, it starts here. This is this one, that one, then it goes there to there, there to there, there to there, there to there. So if a quest comes up and it needs a cow, I know the cows are down at that end of the map, or I mean, not the cows, but a chicken is down at that end of the map. And I know that cows won't be much past chickens because they all become with C. And if I need rabbits, I know they're going to be down at this end of the map. And I like it alphabetical just because it allows my head to have some idea of where it's sitting on my map. And that's all there is to it. And the flowers are definitely going to be the same. They will be by alphabetical by type. Does that make sense? Where it would be like my orchids. We have 4 different orchids here. First, I guess, is going to be blue, then red, then yellow, then white, or white, then yellow. Sorry, apparently my alphabet is backwards. But I will have them by orchid first. It'll be orchid blue, orchid red, orchid white, orchid yellow. And the same with the roses. So if a quest comes up and I need tulips, I'll know that the tulips are down, at the second half of the alphabet section. And a lot of these other little bits and pieces that just don't have clumps will be, obviously on their own somewhere. And then the herbs are going to be off where the herbs are. But that's my method. And you can't really do much about it until you've bought a lot of land. And the best way to make that happen, early days, as soon as you can possibly manage, you go to your tree department, okay? You find out what the rubber trees need. You can see that that's the little shape. When it's grayed out down here at the bottom, it's kind of hard to tell what it is. But that's what you're looking for. And get those up as quickly as you can, because that's going to probably be the cheapest way to get a lot of diamonds early in. If you're making a lot of gold, then you can get into the crops like the peppercorns, the turmeric down here is really good, but it's 10,000 Ks. So sometime early days you don't, that's harder to get. But this is a very good plant to a field crop for making money. This is probably my favorite. But you don't get that till quite late in the game either. So you just do what you can. You just do what you can to get as many diamonds as you can, as quickly as you can, and buy up those outside rows, because those are flat and those make it easy to start slowly moving things into clumps. This center section, there will be places like here. Well, no, that's an outside section. What am I talking about? There will be places that you get in where you can have, some flat places. And I won't put them in clumps like this, but I will try to put these, whatever I put in here will be in rows. And that might be something special, like the few, I'm going to call them perennial plants like this, that are giving fabric instead of vegetables or fruit. Because my trees will be fruit in one clump, alphabetical, veg in one clump, alphabetical, etc. So I've got a pile of these that have to get moved as well. But these center areas will be for things that are in smaller numbers. And again, the white bushes over here, these are going to give me grapes. I don't know what plants give grapes, what trees. I actually can't remember. There must be something, though, that give, grapes, berries, I guess is what they are. But most of these are fruit. Like this is an event thing, and it's giving cloth. I probably won't even be planting that later. I have some now because it was giving me diamonds. The nuts will be together for sure. The rubber tree is very different. It's not going to fit in. It'll be in its own place. I have the magnolias will be together because they're flowers. I not have berries. What things are berries here? That's a veg. There must be some plant or tree that has berries. No, maybe not. The cactus is a flower. That will go with the magnolias then. And then there are the 3 or 4 mushroom trees. 3, I guess, and then some from events. But, dude, are there no berries at all on trees? Well, that would explain why I couldn't think what they were. And that goes into spice. That's a laurel. Now, a laurel tree. Oh, see, that one would be here on its own somewhere, because I think that is the only tree that has spices in it. And this one is the only tree section that has the berries, the grapes. So those would be in these intersections where I don't need lots and lots of them. They don't fit in the big clumps like vegetable and fruit. They will go into these sort of places. And this is where I will end up putting barns for storage, the sorts of buildings that you do for decoration, this sort of thing, a dairy area where I can just go through and have a lot of the big barrels on their own, stuff like that in these lumpy bits. I'm not going to be going for big planting areas in these places at all. They're just not worth the effort. So I would say early days, don't worry too much about the organizing. Just try to keep things in rows as best you can. And this, I'm not sure why I only had 2 there, probably because I had these down first. But try to keep them in rows because it just makes it easier to move them. And you will have to move things. Absolutely, it's going to happen. It's just part of playing the game. And don't worry about it too much. Aim for getting that outer map, those outer map rows open, and then work to bind the inside later, and then you can start clearing out the inside and moving it, and clearing out and moving and clearing, and to the various areas. And with my animals, and I will look at them because I'm not sure if the person who asked me this was around while I was doing this. Like I said, I've got them by alphabet. Donkeys albino first, up here donkeys Andalusian, the donkey mammoth Jack, the donkey Miranda, and the donkey Provence. And that's just how I've done it. Ducks are next, and then we go on to goats, and etc., etc. I don't have a lot of animals of each. I've only got 36 of each one. It takes a long time to get the questing done if you need 200 of something, and they're one of the animals that take 12 hours to respawn or to get a crop. It can be a very slow process, but I don't do anything with it. I have created this particular method. I put the fence between the clumps of 4 because it keeps the animals from mixing, and I just think it looks tidy this way. I have these down because it makes it quickest for me to run back and forth with, and the center of every one of my little fenced in squares is empty because if I have a quest for ducklings, I will just go get one of my farmhands and move him here. See, this has got a quest, and I got a farmhand there. This is a quest, a farmhand there. That one's there. If the quest is here for chickens, I'll grab this guy and haul him down and plop him in that empty center spot. And that's about it. That's all. Oh, excuse me. And what have I done down here? I don't even know. Oh, this guy with the rubber trees. And that's an early thing, is the first farmhand I get goes straight for rubber trees usually. Rubber trees are fish, depending on which quest I have going at the time. But to get those diamonds, because the sooner you get the diamonds, the sooner you can actually organize things. And then I've got these clumps of trees all over that just got to be cleaned up. So I guess the simplified version is it will be unorganized at first, and you're just going to have to deal with that. It's hard to think about, but everything I'm doing on this farm over the next couple of weeks actually is going to be organizing. My next recording will be finishing off the fish farm here, and you can watch all the things I'm going to have to move. I will be starting to alphabetize the flower beds over here and sorting out how many of each tree I want, because I don't know that yet. And then the center will be the last part I do, and that will be for buildings, for smaller clumps of product, for things that are, I don't need lots and lots of, or that they just don't fit. Like I said, the tree, the whole tree thing, Where we're going here. This guy, it's the only tree that gives grapes. So he won't go with fruit, and he won't go with vegetable, and he won't go with nuts. So he'll go in the center somewhere because he's a single thing that is, going to live on its own. And the same with the mulberry. It's giving me fabric. So he'll be off on his own somewhere. And the mushrooms will be together, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, that's about the best I can do is hope that you don't worry about it too much in the early days. And then over the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to watch what I'm doing and see if there's some things that ring a bell. There's lots of different ways to organize the farms, though. And every time you visit somebody else's farm, you'll see a different way of doing it. This is just the one that works for me. And I don't presume to say that it's even a good one. It's just the one that works for me. So I hope that helped a little bit. Just think straight rows as much as possible. Even in the center of the map, think straight rows as often as you can, simply because it's easier to harvest, but it's also going to be easier to move them, and you will be moving them, guaranteed. If you want to organize, you're going to be moving a lot of things, and that's just part of the game. So until I see you next time, live your life happy, build it beautiful, and we're working with fish next. Bye-bye.